It's getting hot in here. Oh yeah, it's hot. It's hot. I hope everybody is doing good, maintaining within this heat, right? As you can see, down here at the bottom, this is what we will be covering today in the breaking news. Now, a lot of these stories I did not read. I seen the title, glimpsed through it, and said, okay, yes, I want to deliver this to the people. So let's get into this. All right. Okay. Black Lives Matter, BLM co-founder warns the rise. Hold on, let me turn this mic down. The rise of white supremacy is here. Now let me say something, sis. White supremacy always been here. This is actually the fall of white supremacy, right? Or its new face, right? Because we had the feminist movement and the smash keyboard crew movement. So there's been a misunderstanding of who's running this show, right? And I told you most of that was really just to throw us off guard, So, and when I say us, I mean black people, right? So here we go. Jessica Washington. This is yesterday at 4:14 p.m. As smoke filled scenes the United States Capitol under attack by a group of vowed white supremacists on January 6 filled our television screens. The consensus for many black Americans was the same backlash is here. This is the sister, right? The photo by, Earl Gibbs the third and Wire Image, right? And Getty Image, Alice Gazer, you could Garza, you could see it right there, all right? Few people saw this moment more clearly than Alicia Garza, co-founder of the International Black Lives Matter organization and principal of Black in the Future Action Fund. All right, let me make this a little bit smaller for you here. All right. Then it goes, anytime in history when rights have been expanded for groups of people, says Greg Garza, there are these moments that come forward to turn that progress around. So she is very well aware that this is nothing new. This system is set up to basically bring certain people out and then, you know, go against it. That's why I had a big problem with the Smashboard crew using blackness, because really it wasn't about us. We're just the token of their advancements, right? But what makes this moment in history so terrifying, she says, is the support white supremacists have found from the highest levels of the Republican Party. When has, the political system not been this, to see, this is what I mean. Our people are under some false impression that the government is set up to protect us. The government is set up to protect them, right? So the attacks on the Democrats is rightfully because, that system is not for black people either. But when we are under this impression that, okay, so the Republican Party is for us, no, we need to walk away from both parties. The Republican Party has always embraced racism in some way, but not as openly as they are today. Maybe in your lifetime, but the Republican Party, the old Democratic Party and all of this is the Whigs and all of it. It's the same people. It's nothing new. The Republican Party has today, says Garza. We now have abusively white supremacists serving in our U.S. Congress. When have this not been the case, sis? In case anyone forgot, two Republican representatives, including Majority Taylor Greene, of Georgia, spoke at a white supremacist rally earlier this year without facing any real consequences unless you count the stern talking to from the minority leader. And former Republican President Donald Trump, in addition to having his fingerprints all over the January 6th attack, also told white supremacists to stand back and stand by for his signal. Trump Green and several other Republicans inside have spouted great replacement talking points as a white supremacist theory about white genocide that made its way into the Buffalo Shooters Manifesto. We have been promoting this replacement theory ourselves. It's been catching on, and now they are feeling the results of it. So don't act like this is something that is not real, that is being promoted. I mean, whether it's real or not is two different things. But the promotion has been there for a very long time. You can hear it in videos and speeches and stuff like that. So I don't know where people are acting like this is not being said. And as far as, the Buffalo shooter, like I said, I used to be on Discord in these battle rooms with these little racist white kids, yes, same people. And, I have been going hard and actually, basically was informing them, your time is up. So I'm not surprised of any of this. The Buffalo shooter took the lives of 10 black Americans who were at grocery shopping in the predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo, New York, in May. The shooting left several others injured as well. Garza, whose connection with the Black Lives Matter movement has made her a target of right wing political hate, and also mentions in the manifesto. Says, be careful. That's why you gotta go hard. Don't stop doing what you're doing because you are clearly affecting these people. Right? White supremacists are very wound up and riled up about the success of the Black Lives Matter movement and this generation of black liberation movement, says Garza. And they're upset about that because they don't believe that black people should have same rights. That's a fact. But as much of black America has always been the focus of white supremacist violence in this country, this is about more than just hatred of black people, says Garza. Whether it's the LB, all of the smash keyboard crew. Too many letters for me, folks. Whether it's the black people, this is where I have a problem. Like I said, to throw them in front of blackness is where I separate from you. Right? I didn't mind you mentioning, but if you notice, it's the Smashboard crew, and then it's black people, and then it's women. First, it should be black people, and you as a woman should follow second, right? And then, your sexual preference if that's what you are under. This is just how I feel about the situation. I'm black first. I'm a black male, straight, right? So that's how I would put it. I'm a black male who's, speaking for the straight community, right? Whether it's the smashboard crew, whether it's the black people, whether it's the woman, says Garza, there is this notion that expanded right for some, diminishment right for another. Diminishes same rights for some, diminishes rights for others. Last month, police arrested 31 men connected to a white nationalist group, Patriot Front, in a U-Haul truck on their way to a pride event in Idaho. Right? See, now, are we fighting for black people, or are you interested in, the smashboard crew? What are you protecting here? Now, to point out the Patriot Front, granted, but I'm just saying. The group was allegedly planning to rile up Pride Parade attendees and set off smoke grenades, but it's unclear if the attack would have stopped there had they not been caught. This isn't a movement of people who are unhinged, says Garza. These people have been organized, and they've organized around the idea that something being taken away from them and they have to fight to get it back. Right? We should be in the same, black people should be in the same mindset. Something was not given to us. We wasn't given these respects. Here we go, still in 22, bringing up, the first black person this and the first black person that. There should not be that in 2022. Right? So, our fight should be still the making them live out their constitution, right? We are not forcing them to live out the constitution. We are begging them to live out the constitution, and this is why these groups have the ability to give us a hard time. This isn't a fight to get back. Right, the fact that they're hiring that message from the top of the Republican political establishment, well, that just makes them all the more dangerous, says Garza, right? And part of the True series with Alicia Garza, we discuss her plan to address the rise of white supremacy. All right, so they'll be coming back to that. That was just something I wanted to bring out there, and this is still connected. Confederate flags pop up on West Virginia high schoolers' cars after fellow student calls out use of the N word. All right, so this is, as you know, the Confederate flag and all of that. Forgive me, my nose is itching right here. All right. This is provided by Raw Story Confederate Memorial Shutterstock. On Tuesday, local West Virginia news station WJLA reported that Skylar Nelson, a high schooler at the East Hardley High School in Baker, West Virginia, is attempting to call attention to racism at her school. Good fight, sis. All right. However, other students are retaliating with even more grandiose display of racism. This is why we must support the sister in her fight, because they're making her know that, hey, this is what we doing, and so after a while you would have to concern yourself with the fact of something might be brewing in the background for her. Right? On the last week of school, before this year's summer break at East Hardy high school, students started showing up for class flying the Confederate flag in the back of their pickup trucks. Reported Scott Taylor. Nelson believes the flags are a result of her conducting her own investigation into the use of the N word by students at East Hardy. So this is why, when you have these white kids who hang around black kids and use the N word, the black kids are unaware that they are using it still in a racist fashion. You know what I mean? So, pay attention to what the fight really is. The flag started popping up after Nelson exposed the racist language and Hardy her evidence over no and handed over her evidence to school officials, said the report. Over the span of 2 weeks, I compiled evidence and pictures and videos and witness statements from other people in the school that have said the N-word, said Nelson, a racist slur on a desk, and multiple uses of the N word were witnessed by other students at the school who gave Nelson signs, written complaints. The N word popping up on high school students' social media. Good job, sis. We will support you. Nelson tells the station that she believes the flags are a direct response to a recent investigation she conducted where she says she compiled evidence and pictures and videos and witness statements from other people in the school that said the N-word. Asked by reporters whether she hated her fellow classmates for their behavior, Nelson replied, I don't hate them because they're wrong. I don't think they know they're wrong. No, sis. Do not, backpedal, and do not let them, back you into this moral high ground, because that's what they're trying to do. Asked by reporters whether she hates the fellow classmates for their behavior. Me, I hate anybody who hates me. That's it. Once you hate me, I'm not taking no high ground and making no excuse for you. So, that's just me. But if she don't hate them because they're wrong, she just don't believe that they know they're wrong. They know they're wrong. Trust me on that. In recent months, a number of racist students at school around the country have drawn national controversy. In January, onlookers at a high school basketball game in Olympia, Washington, made ape noises at black players. And in March, in Alicio Hovia, my fault, I don't know that, California, a prom invites video mocking the murder of police brutality victim George Floyd went viral. All right, so then we going into our next story. Now this right here, this is why I say as a people, we need to identify ourselves as who we are first, our gender second, because I'm black before I'm a male. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a black male, who just happens to be straight. So for me, it's in that order. My sexual preference has, little bearing in today's time because, I'm not part of the smash keyboard crew. So it's like it's not even something I give a thought to. I'm comfortable in what I am. But in this story, right, Turkish courts uphold exit from treaty protecting women. It's not about gay women. It's there in Turkey and it's an attack on the women, not whether her sexual preferences, right? Ankara, Turkey, AP. A top administrative court in Turkey ruled Tuesday that President Recep, I don't know how to pronounce his name, decision to pull the country out of the key European treaty protecting women from violence was unlawful, rejecting petition seeking its cancellation, the state-ran news agency reports. All right, this is the guy right here. All right, got a little jitter in my camera. I'm gonna have to calibrate that. Right, provided by Associate Press, Turkish President Recep. Right, listens to his Iranian counterparts. Right, sorry, these names I can't get during their joint press briefing at the Sabadi Palace in Tehran, Iran, right, Tuesday, July 19th, 2022, right? Erdogan withdrew Turkey from the Council of European Istanbul Convention last year, prompting commendation from women, condemnation from women's groups in Western countries. The landmark convention was signed in Istanbul in 2011. Several women groups and other organizations had petitioned the Council of State, arguing that Erdogan's move to pull out the treaty through the presidential decree of was unlawful. The court judges, however, ruled by majority decision to reject the petition. Right, agency reported. Yeah, Yalmaz Tunk, a member of the Agrins ruling party, became the court's decision, saying it would put an end to the decision that lacks a legal basis. The main opposition party leader, Kamel, sorry again, vowed to return Turkey to the convention within a week or even 24 hours should his center-left party come to power in an election next year. Right? Next year's decision to leave the convention came after, no, last year's decision to leave the convention came after some officials from Erdogan's Islamic orientated party has advocated for a review of the argument, arguing it was inconsistent with Turkey's conservative values by encouraging divorce and undermining the traditional family unit. Critics also claim that it promotes homosexuality. And that's what I was thinking this whole thing had to be, right? That it had to have something to do with, while you're saying, the promotion of one thing, it's actually because it's in defense of another, meaning that their argument is based on homosexuality. And so, Islamic states are not with that. So they learned the wording and how once you open the door to one thing, it actually opens the door to another. So at this point, I'm on the gate. I don't understand the fight against the Smash Keyboard crew, but I don't feel that the way to do it is by not protecting the women, right? Erdogan insisted it would be a step backwards for women in March. Turkey Parliament ratified a bill aimed at combining violence against women that includes introducing tougher sentences if the victim of a violent crime is a woman and making persistent stalking punishable by prison. Right. At least 226 women have been murdered in Turkey so far in 2022 and 225 last year, according to the We Will Stop Femicide group. All right. So I hope they figure out what's going on there and they come to a equal understanding, meaning that we will not support a certain system, but we must protect, those women, agenda of women, regardless to what of their sexual preference. So maybe you could do like, some countries and just tell, if you live in that lifestyle to leave. It's your right to, leave. I don't know. I hate offering a suggestion because it would sound cold that you're telling somebody to leave their homeland, right? So it's not for me to offer any insight on that outside of just reading it. Right? Law and order organized crime. Crew members shot and killed on set in New York City. Right now I seen this and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Right? Marlene Lin Hang and Diana Dash Smith. I'm not good with names. I'll admit that I'm not good with names at all. Amen. A man, I guess it's supposed to be a man, right, was fatally shot in an ambush on the set of Law and Order Organized Crime while working parking enforcement for the show early Tuesday in Brooklyn. The 31-year-old victim was sitting in a car in the 200 block of North Henry Street in the Greenpoint neighborhood when he was attacked around 5:15 a.m., the New York City Police Department said. The suspect opened the car door and fired, striking the victim in the face and neck, according to police. The victim was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead around 6 a.m., police said. That's sad. This picture was provided by NBC News. A 31-year-old man was shot to death near Brooklyn Law and Order set Tuesday, and he managed the street parking for the show. NYPD say this is NBC in New York. All right. Officials said the victim was hired as an outside agent to clear parking to make space for trucks. The shooting may have occurred when the set was not yet may have occurred when the set was not yet active, according to police. The victim is not being identified pending family notification. The suspect is described as a man with thin build, about 5'4" tall, last seen wearing a black hooded and black pants, police said. I mean, they don't tell you race, skin tone, something. Give us something to know. No arrest has been made in the case. All right. A spokesman for NBC and Universal Television said in a joint statement, "We are terribly saddened and shocked to hear that one of our crew members was the victim of a crime early this morning and has died as a result. We are working with local law enforcement as they continue to investigate." The statement continues. "Our hearts go out to his family and friends, and we ask that you respect their privacy during this time." NBC and Universal Television are owned by NBC Universal, the parent company of NBC News. Forgive me, man. My nose is itching. I don't know. It might be something inside this. So I'm going to hopefully, lean back a bit and just talk louder, right? Um, CIA director issues warning after noose reportedly discovered near agency's secret facility. Raw story yesterday, 7:44 p.m. by Sarah K. Burris. Right, this is the guy right here. Provided by Raw Story. Williams Burns has been picked by the president-elect Joe Biden to lead the Central Intelligence Agency. Jim Watson, AFP files. Right, so this is what old George Bush role was. Here we go. This is the guy. The CIA has a secret facility in Virginia, outside of their own office in Langley, where the workforce is typically known to operate. According to the New York Times, however, the noose appears to have been found outside people's familiar with the rare reports. With the area reports. CIA Director William J. Burns issues a warning that racism and racist symbols would not be tolerated though it is unclear if it was placed by someone from inside the CIA or from outside the staff. The area has other business and organizations nearby, and there are questions about whether the object was actually meant to be a noose or if the person who left the object knew if there was a CIA facility in the area. Related videos, UN Secretary Council escalate security situation. Has warned Security Council against configuration configurations that the CIA does not currently have evidence suggesting that any agency employee left the item or that the foreign intelligence services was involved. According to some of those people's briefed on the incident, said the Times. Now I'm gonna say this. Even if they find out that it was somebody within the agency, not to say they won't handle it, you will never hear from it again. That's what I feel, right? Now I could be wrong, and they could pull the rug from under my feet, but that's what I feel. The object was concerning enough that the CIA found an official report, said the director. So I don't doubt that they will do something about it, right? The value in our vital national security missions demands that we uphold nothing less than the highest standards of inclusiveness and safety, he said, right? Like I said, if he took the time to notice it, like my thing could be one or two things. This could just be, a statement, for the CIA, or in the government saying, "Nah, we don't stand for this," or whatever the case may be, or it's actually real, and they hold this dear. Like I said, I don't put nothing past anybody, but I truly doubt that even if this is real, that you'll hear anything about it if it was on the inside, right? They could put it on somebody on the outside and you'll hear about it. But if it was an inside job, I truly doubt we'll hear about that again. Read the full report in the New York Times, right? You can go to New York Times, and this is, then I got the jitters on my camera, right? And this is where you can find it right there, right? And now we have video shows. This is the last one. Video shows California police fatally shooting black man as he ran away. Sam Levine in Los Angeles 2 hours ago. Police in San Bernardino, California fatally shot a 23-year-old man on Saturday, as he was fleeing, according to surveillance footage that shows an officer firing just seconds after arriving in an unmarked vehicle. Now, let me say this. From what I understand, the man had a gun. From what I understand, he was running with the gun, but he had his back to the police, and they just jumped out of an unmarked car. Keep that in mind. Like I said, I'm not justifying the young man with the gun, and I'm not, going to act like they wasn't there investigating this situation. But to shoot a man in his back the seconds after you get there is clearly murder, right? Because you shot him in the back. If anybody else pulled that off, it would be a crime, right? Just seconds after arriving in an unmarked vehicle, right? So this is what they got, right? Provided by the Guardian photographer Bastine Slabbers, forgive me, right? Security camera footage from the parking lot of San Bernardino, the city an hour east of Los Angeles, shows two officers driving up in an unmarked car about 8 p.m. as Robert Adams stood in the lot. As soon as the two officers exited the car, Adam turned away from them and ran. It appears that roughly 5 seconds after they had stepped out of the car, one of the officers fired at Adams from a distance, seeming to hit him and causing him to collapse on the ground. The video is of the killing went viral on Monday and sparked national outrage, with the civil rights lawyers Ben Crump calling it a horrific execution, right? And Adams' family urging authorities to file murder charges against the officer, who has not been identified. The killing comes weeks after police in Akron, Ohio, fired more than 60 rounds at Jalen Walker, a 25-year-old black man who was also fleeing, sparking widespread protests. I don't know why my nose is itching like this, right? The San Bernardino Police Department said in a statement that the two officers was with a specialized investigation unit. They were conducting a surveillance in an unmarked vehicle after receiving information that a black male armed with a gun was in the parking lot. The surveillance footage does not have audio, but the department claims that the officers gave verbal commands after they exited the car and that Adam had a gun in his hand and fled. Adams' family said he probably did not know they were officers when they arrived. His mother, Tamika Davila King, told CBS LA he was not a threat to them. He was running for his life. King told the TV station that she was on the phone with her son just moments before the shooting. Ordwin King, Adam's stepfather, told The Guardian, "We want full justice for our son. We want the cops like that off of the force." He previously told CBS LA that the officers hunted him down like a wild dog. Jennifer Correll, a spokesman for the police department, said Adam did not fire at the officers. But we don't know what they was called there for. We don't know if he was, threatening somebody else, and then when they came, he took off. We don't know any of that, right? So for me, I'm gonna stand down. I'm not, gonna go after both of the police. Only one shot him. You know what I mean? So, if anything, that one cop should be put on, leave, right? Whether it's paid or not, but he should not be on, the streets at this moment. Spokesman, Jennifer Cole, spokesman, said Adam did not fire at the officers. The video also does not show him pointing a weapon at the officers and only shows him running in the opposite direction. Carell said the department would release body cam footage. She said Adam, who is black, fit the description of a tip police were investigating, but she declined to say whether the police confirmed he was the person they were looking for. She said the two officers were not on leave. I feel one of them should be, right? Adam was taken to the hospital after the shooting where he later died. A local councilman, Ben Rainiso, said he believed the officers should face criminal charges. The officer, right, based on the video, just that one. I've been grappling with it all day. To watch him flee and get killed, there's no justification. It was like an execution, he said, adding that he questions why police showed up in an unmarked car. How often do we deploy these tactics, and to what end? If this could happen one time, it could happen somewhere else in our city right now. Andres Garcia, a local community organizer who until recently was living a block away from the lot where the killing occurred, said the police actions in the video reminded him of a gang attack. I'm very familiar with gang violence, and that's what it looked like to me, like a gang style hit and execution. He said, don't mean to laugh. There has been recent gun violence in the area, and it was not surprising that someone would be scared and fleeing when two people slowly pull up in an unmarked car and then get out with guns drawn. Right? They also noticed that there was a large history of racial profiling in the San Bernardino Police Department. In April, a state audit found that officers in the department had engaged in biased conduct and cited a case of police using executive force against a Latino woman who was involved in a car accident. There's not a lot of trust between police and the community here, Reynoso said. Police in the U.S. continue to kill more than 3 people a day, and they have killed 633 people so far in 2022. According to Mapping Police Violence, a nonprofit research group that marks a sight increasing from killing at this point last year, which was one of the deadliest years for police violence on record. Right? So, this is where we end this. Like I said, I'm always, try to be fair. Like as if they was there going to investigate a tip, clearly whatever he was doing, somebody decided to tell on him, right? And two, we get the full understanding. I'm just saying as far as why they came there. If it was, based on violence, even so, nobody was shot, nobody was killed at the scene. It wasn't like they was called for that. So there should be some reprimand for the officer who killed them. But I still would like to know more about what has taken place here. Not caping for the police. I give two two, craps about, a crooked officer. If you shot this man in the back, you should be, dealt with. But as far as, putting the blame on both of them, I commend the other officer for not taking the same approach. With that, I'm out. Peace. Have a good one, people.